What is up? We are live. This is the pre-race for Watkins Glen, and we'll jump right into the paint schemes. Paint scheme preview. Drop that link right there in the chat if you want to follow along. And not a whole lot going on until we get to number 15. So we will go through these first ones a little bit quicker. The normal bush light scheme here for Ross the boss, who has the pole, which we'll get to here in just a minute. Auto Trader on the side of the number 2, mostly orange this time, but we've seen the Auto Trader deal before. Bioethanol, that is their scheme for Austin Dillon this weekend. A lime, not a lime green. What is that? Maybe a Kelly green. Kelly green of the bioethanol Dow Chevrolet. Bed Bath and Beyond. Yes, they filed for bankruptcy. Yes, that is so they could reorganize and keep continuing as a company. And apparently, part of their keep continuing as a company after bankruptcy is to sponsor NASCAR cars. They're on the side of the number 4 for Josh Berry. HendrickCars.com. We've seen that one before on Kyle Larson. Soft Pretzel Bites is going to be the King's Hawaiian number 6 theme they're going with this week on the number 6 Ford Mustang Dark Horse of Brad Keselowski. 7 Gainbridge on Corey LaJoy. Good looking scheme. Seen it before. Zone. But I guess what is it? What do you call that? Zen substitute? I don't know. Their version of Zen or whatever. So there you go. On the side of the number 8 for Kyle Busch. And Napa going with their blue scheme, sort of their base scheme for the season. Like I said, not a whole lot going on until we get to like 15 here. Bed Bath and Beyond also on the side of the number 10, so taking the overstock route here on the Stewart Haas machines. FedEx, their base scheme, going to be on the number 11. Menards and Pennzoil going to be on the side of YRB. Young Ryan Blaney. Is he young anymore? Is he young? I guess that depends on your perspective and how old you are. Go Bowling going to be on the side of the number 13 for AJ Allmendinger. He's in here playing a spoiler and a red, white, and black car here today for Colleague. I like the car. I kind of like the car. I like the way they set it up. Pretty cool scheme. So that's sort of our first one that's outside of the box. 14 High Point. We've seen this one before, the blue and the white there for Mr. Chase Briscoe. And here we go. Meat and Bone. We've seen it before, but I like the sponsor on the side of Kaz Grala. So Meat and Bone, they are a meat company, high-end meat. So if you want to meatandbone.com, go to meatandbone.com. WeatherTech on the side of the number 16 for SVG. We've seen it before, sort of his base scheme in the Xfinity series, but now it's on the side of a 16 instead of a 97, and there's no weird track out slash through the 16. So that's the only real difference in the scheme, objectively, other than, of course, it's the Cup Series, so the number is slid forward. Build Submarines on the side of Chris Buescher. Number 19, Reese's Food, Toyota Camry for Martin Truex Jr. Hashtag Let's Eat. DeWalt's number 20. They've got sort of a let's see, what is this? A landscaping? Is it outdoor solutions? So yeah, landscaping, sort of their chainsaw and stuff like that. I guess yard grooming tools here on the DeWalt Chevrolet. 21. They got that Tron look on the Freightliner Harrison Burton Ford Mustang there. Always a cool scheme. They don't break it out too often, so every time you see it, it does feel unique. 22 Shell Pennzoil, their basic scheme. Mobile on the side of the 23, so one of those mobile schemes, for whatever reason, 2311 likes that primer gray. I don't, so not a huge fan of this one, but that's okay. We've got another Mobile One car throughout the field that I think looks a little bit better than that one. 24, Liberty University on the side of William Byron with the Flames. We've seen that one before. 31 Crackle, same one we see all the time. Benabone with the pig on the hood there for the number 34 of Michael McDowell and his Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Boozy Jerky for Todd Gilliland. Pickle Todd is now Boozy Todd with the Boozy Jerky. So I guess it's made with some alcohol for flavoring. I don't know. Let's see. Mohawk Northeast Incorporated on the side of the Ryan Priest number 41. 42 Dollar Tree. 43 Family Dollar. We've seen both of those before. Sort of a reverse, I think, of what I think Eric Jones ran that exact scheme on the 43 on the Dollar Tree last week. So Switching them up, swapping them from last week, 6.0%. Hard the Beast. Tyler Reddick, number 45, Beast Unleashed, Toyota Camry. I like the scheme. I do like the Beast Unleashed scheme. So that's a pretty good one. I do like that one. Old El Paso. This is one of my favorite schemes of the weekend. It's sort of got like a Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Mega Powers look to it with the yellow and the red. But Old El Paso outdoing themselves. And then the white hood. Kroger went with a white hood on this one, which I think was a good move for them. Blue Kroger. One of the best. It won't be a diecast, but I wish it was because this is a good looking scheme for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the number 47 Kroger Old El Paso Chevrolet Camaro Ally with their normal scheme, which is always a good looking scheme, but it's just sort of the normal scheme they always run. And here we go. This is the really good looking one. The all black number 50 Mobile 1 for Juan Pablo Montoya. Mobile, of course, celebrating his 50th anniversary. Therefore, it is the 50 car. Pinnacle on the side of the 51 for Justin Haley. 54, good looking car here for Ty Gibbs. NASCAR on the CW starts September 20th. So there you go. All your Xfinity races from here on out will be on the CW. So make sure you find what channel that is in your local region. But the 54, the orange and the red, or the orange and the black here for Ty Gibbs with a white number. I think it's a good looking car. I think they did an outstanding job with it. Mets colors here, orange and blue for Zane Smith and the 71 Focused Health, sort of their normal scheme. Mattress Warehouse on the 77 for Carson Josephus, Hocevar, and then the green, the blue, the white for Daniel Suarez in the 99 Freeway Insurance Chevrolet. Let's take a look at your starting lineup, and your pole sitter is going to be Ross Chastain in that Busch Light Chevy. Martin Truex Jr. starting second. SVG starting here in third, and the number 16 Alex Bowman starting fourth. Austin Cindric fifth. AJ Allmendinger right here with him here in sixth place in his sort of spoiler role. Ringer, whatever you want to call him. Joey Logano seventh. Daniel Suarez eighth. Noah Gragson ninth. Michael McDowell rolls off 10th. And then from there on out, we're just going to run through these and then jump into, jump into the statistics here. William Byron, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Corey LaJoie, Zane Smith, and Kyle Larson. Pretty deep in the field, rounding out your top 20. Ryan Preece, Denny Hamlin, Austin Dillon, Chris Buescher, Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Daniel Hemrick, Brad Keselowski, Carson Hocevar, Ryan Blaney round out your top 30. Surprising that Blaney is this far back. I think Team Penske has some good long run speed, so we'll have to see how this plays out in this particular race. And then you got Josh Berry, Bubba Wallace, Harrison Burton, Juan Pablo Montoya. Stinks that Juan Pablo's back here, but hopefully they got good long run speed and they figure out whatever's going on with that car. And then 35th, you got John Hunter Nemechek, Justin Haley, Todd Gilliland, and Kaz Grala starting shotgun on the field. All right, let's go to the stats. Who's got your best average finish? And in two races here out of the three since 2021, AJ Allmendinger has the best average finish at 3.0 in his two races. Has an average start of 6.0. And guess where he's starting here today? Right there on the money. Christopher Bell starting with the second best finishing average at 6.0. So a good 3-point split there. 8.3 for Tyler Reddick. Denny Hamlin, 9.0. Kyle Larson, 9.3. William Byron, 9.7. 10.7 for Martin Truex Jr. Matt DiBenedetto not in the race, but he is tied with Chris Buescher at 11.0. Joey Logano, 11.7. And Chase Elliott's 12.7, rounding out your top 10 in best average finish. Let's take a look at the previous winners. Kyle Larson has won 2 of the last 3, and William Byron has won 1 of the last 3. So got to feel strong about Hendrick's chances here today. Sort of been a Hendrick track the last 3 years. Leaders in top 5s at 2 apiece out of the 3 are going to be Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and AJ Allmendinger. So there you go. AJ Allmendinger trending well here. So let's go to laps led, because sometimes that tells you all you need to know about who is probably going to have the best chance of winning this race. William Byron, 66 laps led. Martin Truex Jr., 34 laps led, so I wouldn't sleep on either of those guys. 32 laps led for Kyle Larson, 31 for Michael McDowell. Chase Elliott has 29. Joey Logano has 26. This is all, of course, is according to driveraverages.com. And with their power rating system, they're going to have Kyle Larson at 111 as your number 1 driver. 108 is going to be AJ Allmendinger. Then William Byron at 102 and Christopher Bell at 101 are going to be your 4 favorites. of this one, by the numbers, I'm going to have to take Kyle Larson. AJ Allmendinger is going to be my spoiler. And let's go with a wild card here that probably nobody is really thinking about. Or maybe I'm not going to say not thinking about, but probably not talking about as much. But I'm going to go down here and talk about three guys: Michael McDowell, Tyler Reddick, and Joey Logano. Not a whole lot of people are talking about them, but it would not surprise me to see one of those three guys win. Uh, so yeah, those are going to be sort of my spoilers or sort of my wild card picks. But my spoiler is definitely going to be AJ Allmendinger, and my favorite here by the numbers is going to be Kyle Larson. All right, let's jump into the chat and see what you guys want to talk about. I do have a poll question up, and it comes exactly from those four that I mentioned there. Who do you think has the best chance to win? And right now, you guys are with me with 30 votes, 30% saying Larson, 27% saying Dinger, 17% saying Lord Byron, and 27% saying Seabell Christopher Bell. Which manufacturer will win the points race at season end? I'm going with Ford, says Jamie Schweitzer. I think I'm not only gonna pick a manufacturer here. I'm gonna pick a specific driver. I think it's gonna be Toyota, and I think it's gonna be Christopher Bell. And we don't even know if Seabell is gonna be in that final four or not. I just have a random feeling that Christopher Bell is gonna win that race, and that Toyota is gonna win that race. And I don't know why. It's just sort of a random feeling I got. But yeah, Ford's on a hot streak, so definitely a good pick there. They've won what at least two out of the last three. Or no, they haven't. Chevrolet won last year, but Blaney won the championship. But yeah, but Ford's a good pick for sure. Let's see. Martin Truex Jr. dominates his home track of Watkins Glen. Kyle Busch keeps the consistency up as well. This one is more of an actual home track for Martin Truex Jr. So yeah, that's it's a meme we got going on, but for sure another home track for Martin Truex Jr. Good day, everyone. What's up, Brickyard? One wise guy, morning. What's up, one wise guy? Good morning, West Coast. Hope y'all are doing good for sure. Morning here, says Glock. Yeah, about what is it? About 9:40, 9:42 over there. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to say bright and early, but it is morning in the West Coast. Despite winning every Watkins Glen race, and I'm starting these things a little bit earlier so that everybody can watch football. So despite winning every Watkins Glen race since 2019, HMS is starting kind of in the back, says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, it's interesting. Are they setting up for long run speed? Did they give up the short run speed? It's going to be super interesting how they qualify, because Blaney's back there too. So it's going to be really interesting if some of these guys had these things trimmed out and some of them have them in more of a long run race trim, or if they just missed the setup. Like you never know. You never know with this car. Yep, says wise guy. BB is Applebee's going to be part of our season in November, says in between the lanes. Yeah, practice season, Applebee's will definitely, and we'll get some input from Mike Harmon there too, the expert on all things Applebee's, and whatever the Detroit head coach is. He's also an Applebee's expert. Cover your mouth so they can't see your order. Pretty good commercial there. I can't call his name because of course the camera's on. You can't think of anything, can't do math, can't do anything right when the camera comes on. I want to talk about this Zilich boy. He's a blue chipper right there. Kid's going to be a cup champ if he continues. One of two things is going to happen if he continues, and both of them are going to end up well. So I'll before anybody don't talk bad about him. I'm not talking bad about him. One of two things is going to happen. The last time I saw somebody with this much hype was Joey Logano, and it took Joey Logano 3 or 4 years to really get good. Maybe Chase Elliott had the same amount of hype, but I think Joey Logano had more hype behind him. He even had the sliced bread logo, which he doesn't even want to talk about sliced bread anymore. But yeah, the ones I remember with this much hype coming in behind them was Jeff Gordon, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott to an extent, but Chase Elliott's hype was different because he was Bill Elliott's son. So I feel like his hype was just a little bit different. But as far as unknown commodities, you had never heard of a Jeff Gordon before. You had never heard of a Joey Logano before. So they were sort of unproven commodities with a ton of hype behind them. And Joey Logano took him a little while to get going. Jeff Gordon finished 14th in points his first season. I just looked at this the other day. That's the only reason I know it, because I was literally having this conversation in my head the other day. And then his second year, he finished 8th in points and won 2 races, one of which being at Charlotte. And then after that, I think the third year, if I'm not mistaken, let's see. I think he won a title in his third year, if I'm not mistaken. But I might be wrong about that. Anyway, Jeff Gordon got going pretty quick, is what I'm getting at. Joey Logano didn't get going pretty quick. It took Joey Logano a little time to get into it, and he was looked at as a bust. Like crazy, it's crazy to think about it now, but Joey Logano was looked at as a bust, and then he went over there to Penske, and he's got himself a couple of championships now, and he's not looked at as a bust. But for a little while, he was looked at. So one of two things is going to happen. And I think Connor Zilic is going to take one of those two paths. He's either going to immediately be good in the Cup Series when he gets there, and he will get there, and or he could take the Joey Logano path where it takes him 3 or 4 years. Even Chase Elliott, it took him a few years to get a win, but after that, the floodgates open, no doubt about it. So he'll either be looked at as a bust for 2 or 3 years, 4 years maybe max, or he'll immediately come in there and start kicking butt. But either way, I think the kid is going to be super successful. I don't think he's going to be one that's just a overall bust overall. Zone nicotine pouches says Glocktopus. Yeah, sort of the Zen equivalents. It's sort of like refrigerators. Some people just call them Frigidaires, no matter who makes them. Zone is Zen. That's you got that Zen. What flavor? Zone. So there you go. I'm going with that. So, same thing with Coke. Some people call any soda Coke instead of soda pop or soda. Or some people just call it Coke. What kind of Cokes do you got here? Pepsi or Coke? Let's see. Exceptions. Let's see. I have a stack of them next to me. They are delicious, says Glock. I'll say there you go. Glock throwing in on RCR gang. Expectations for SVG today after his performance yesterday. As long as he's got a car, he'll be up there. Same thing with AJ Allmendinger. As long as he's got a car, I do expect him to be up there. Sans mechanical problems. AJ Allmendinger's in a little bit of a tougher situation. The 13 is not a car that runs every weekend. So same thing with JPM, Juan Pablo Montoya. Those cars don't get run every weekend. So there's a chance for a mechanical failure. There's a chance for the pit crew to mess up because they just don't have the same rhythm of practicing every single week. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Looking at TV coverage of the infield yesterday makes me realize how much I miss not being there with all those fun folks, says Bruce Garvey. Yeah, for sure, man. Like, I know I haven't been, but it's one that's on my list. They talk about Watkins Glen being one of the best one. CW says Glocktopus. Yeah, that's right there with William Byron and CW. So CW, that's where all the Xfinity races will be on from here on out. So make sure you find it. People still won't find the CW, says one wise guy. I have a feeling you're right, but yeah, make sure you find it on. It's free TV, so it should be with your like regular Fox, NBC, and all that on your. If you just have an antenna, you should be able to get it. It's nothing you have to pay for. Hosfar went off track in qualifying, like Hinch and Rossi. Yeah, he did. Oh yeah, and he pulled back on and sat in a really bad spots. So. I like old Josephus, but every once in a while he just does something that makes you scratch your head, and you're like, "What were you thinking there?" I don't know. He's young; he'll get it together, and he's going to be a really good driver. Proud of Rossi. Doubt he'll be able to pull off the win, but hoping for the best. Or proud of Ross. The exclamation points for whatever reason I flipped them in my head. Proud of Ross. Doubt he'll be able to pull off the win, but hoping for the best. Hey, he laid down a lap, man. The fact that he was close to 2/10 faster than SVG is super impressive. And Trackhouse, don't forget Trackhouse for a little while was really good at road courses. Sort of cooled off here recently, but maybe they're back to being good at road courses again. So we'll find out. CW leaning into the live sports. Good to see a network actually pushing NASCAR. I agree with you, and I think that's going to be a big help for the Xfinity Series if they pull it off and get it going good. I think that's going to be a good deal for them for sure. Larson at 20 is a shocker, says Car Enthusiast. Yeah, he did not have the qualifying lap he wanted. We'll have to see how it races though. He's good here. So, like I said, him and SVG, AJ Allmendinger, Larson is Larson, as long as he doesn't wreck or anything like that. We'll have to see what happens, but I do expect them all to be up front before it's said and done. Let's go Ross and Speedy Suarez, says Quattro. I think they've both got a good chance. Daniel Suarez definitely a good road course racer as well. Not necessarily the worst wild card pick you could have pulling a Suarez in there. I think sports shows on the CW need to rethink some of the hosts. Not really relatable on the gambling show, says one wise guy. Well, they'll have the for the at least immediate run, they will have basically the NBC cast. So you will have some familiarity there. So I think you'll be all right. Bell for the wild card, says one wise guy. Not a bad pick. Seabell, nobody ever talks about him, but he's just like really good. So it's one of those things. He's definitely a wild card because nobody talks about him, but he shouldn't be a surprise when he wins. Like he's just he's really good here. He's top four in the deal as well. As you see by the poll. If you want to vote on the poll, vote on the poll. If not, don't worry about it. RCR showed speed for the Glen, says one wise guy. Yeah, they were pretty close. Kyle Busch, I think he's starting like what 12th. I said it earlier, but he's 12th or 13th, somewhere in there. So not too bad, not too far out of the top 10. Chevy supremacy until I trade my Colorado for a Tacoma in a few months, says Quattros. There you go, Quattro going. He's gonna be a Tacoma man when he trades in the old Colorado. Let's see. Agree on one wise guy, Bill. 2-day and championship. Says Brickyard Brickhead. Yeah, I got a feeling this might be Seabell's year. I don't know why. It's just I feel like it's got to happen eventually, and maybe this is the year it happens. I feel the same way about William Byron though, so maybe it's one of those two guys is going to break through fairly soon. I feel like. Welcome to the Toyota family, Quattro. None of them, says Stephen D'Amelio Jr. Yeah, I only get options for 4, so that's why those are the 4 options. Motor City Dan Campbell. I don't know why I wanted to keep saying Dan Stevens, but yeah, Motor City Dan Campbell. So there you go. On the Applebee's deal. Outback needed to bring back the Bloomin' Onion Mondays. Harvick was handing them out a few years ago. Yeah, and when they were on Ryan Newman's car, he was handing them out quite often as well, way back in the day. Hello, everyone. What's up, Thunder Strikes? Good to have you on here. My friend, 20 minutes until game time. Go 49ers. Sam Darnold is going to get wrecked, says Joseph Luton. I hope so. I also hope that the Carolina Panthers get wrecked too, because UFC didn't go my way last night. So we're trying to make up for it on the Chargers-Panthers game. So Chargers, don't let me down. Quattro, you boys better not let me down here. I think the slogan at RCR is Rowdy 20 for the rest of the season. Keep Bush's streak going. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think we talked about this in either in the comments or in the Discord. I agree. Hopefully that is RCR's focus, and nothing against Austin Dillon. And I hope Austin Dillon does well as well. But he's got his win for the season, although he didn't get the points for it and all that. I'm not getting into all that, but you got to win on the 3 car. Let's try to get a win on the 8 car. That should be the main deal. And I think that will be the main deal from here on out. That belongs to Texas Roadhouse now, says one wise guy. Connor is going to be the Jordan of NASCAR. Says Quattro. Jets, 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 says in between the lanes. So good luck to your team as well, Lanes. Hope they do well. I'm not exactly sure who they're playing, but much luck to you. Maybe I don't know. I can't recall. Hey, Robin Marks, says Jamie Schweitzer. What's up, Robin Marks? What's up, Canada? Pop isn't a real word for soda, says Quattro. I feel like maybe in the Midwest and up north is the only time I've really heard pop. In the South, I've only heard like soda pop. So yeah. Let's see. Howdy from the Great White North, and howdy Canada. I feel like I missed that one. What's up, Robin Marks? What's up, Canada? If I missed that one earlier, I apologize. I feel like I missed that one, but I might not have. I might just not have remembered reading it. Northwest, it's pop. Okay, so Northwest. I've heard it in the Midwest as well, and I've heard it up north called pop, but South, I've only heard soda pop. I've never just heard it called pop by itself, unless it is a relocated person from the North. I was going to say, yeah, people get upset when I say Yankee. I pull for the Yankees. I don't mean Yankee as a derogative term, but I guess some people take Yankee as a derogative term. Anyway, don't go overseas. You'll be super offended. BB, who wins today on Earth 2? Because every American is a Yankee over there. Let's see. South America, certain spots as well. Anyway, what are we talking about? BB, who wins on Earth 2 today, says Jamie Schweitzer. That's a good question. I hadn't looked at that one yet. So we'll go to down here at the bottom. Justin Haley looking like a strong contender. Strong contender from Justin Haley. Harrison Burton. Oh, Harrison Burton's got him beat. So Harrison Burton, Cody Ware, not in the race. So not going to be him. According to the numbers, it's going to be young Harrison Burton finishing last. That's going to be devastating for his championship run that we know he's going to make. So he'll have to turn that particular average around. But according to the numbers, it will be the 21 car. Here in Alabama, everything is Coke and then followed by okay. What kind do you want? Hey, there you go, Dirty Death. So there you go. Alabama, everything is Coke for sure. I had some friends from Alabama tell me that. So there you go. Definitely Coke. in that area. So no matter what soda, what kind of Coke do you want? I guess is the best way to say. I know the CW because they have March Madness games sometimes, says Quattro. A Ford will be the winner's circle today. Yeah, that's true. CW, when March Madness gets going, they do carry some of the college games as well. That's a good point. So it's that channel you watch once a year. Now you'll watch it more than once a year. You won't just be watching it for college basketball. Ford will be the winner in winner's circle today, says Bruce Reed. I will say this, Bruce. As far as long run speed go, there were a lot of Fords when you looked at long run lap average and stuff like that. A lot of Fords came to the front. That's kind of what has me thinking because tire fall off is going to be huge here. So I'm not necessarily worried about raw speed. So that is making me think a Ford has a good chance of winning this race without question. And also, I think Tyler Reddick had good long run speed. So I would look for one of the Penske cars, Cindric, all the way down to Logano numbers wise, right? Cindric, Blaney, Logano. I would look for one of the Penske cars for a Ford win. I wouldn't count Chris Buescher out or Brad Keselowski as far as the Ford camp goes, but the Penske's had the better long run speed on the averages I was looking at. And Tyler Reddick for the Toyota gang had the better long run speed. Chevrolet, I'm not sure who had the best long run averages off the top of my head right now, but I know for the Toyota and Ford camps, those will be the guys I'd be looking at. My grandma bought in the 1980s called Coke Dope, says Brickyard Brickhead. Uh, yeah, my family members called they called dope anything that was not that you couldn't get at a pharmacy. It was all just dope. What's up, BB? At least in the 80s. What's up, BB and Sunday Crew? What's up, T Van? Off topic, but what do you think the production yesterday at the UFC will do for other sports? I think you'll see probably more. You'll probably see more stuff happening in the Sphere. I feel like the Sphere is gaining some ground. Eddie Burback, a really popular YouTuber, he did a really good video on the Sphere, and after that, it's really, it's really sort of taken off. Sort of sort of been building momentum and stuff like that. Can't talk today. Uh, there's the merch and the Discord links also dropped by one wise guy. Appreciate it. So 3 years from now, Joe Gibbs' team is Bell, Ty Gibbs, and Zillich, says Bruce Garvey. I call Denny Hamlin. No, Zillich. I don't think so. I think Zillich will be a Trackhouse man or a Hendrick man, depending on how it plays out over there. I call Denny Hamlin finishes last today, unless Toyota can come in there like Chevrolet did and Hendrick did for for Jeff Gordon to sort of steal him from Bill Davis and Ford like they did back in the day. I'll call Denny Hamlin finishes last today, says Jamie Schweitzer. That would be bad for him because he doesn't have that cushion anymore. Same thing for Kyle Larson. If anything happens, he doesn't have the cushion anymore either. I like the FedEx scheme this year. Says in between the lanes, they did do a good job with the base scheme this year. Titans. So the Jets are playing the Titans today. So good luck to you. I'm Midwest, and I was raised saying pop. Says T Vance. So there you go. Midwest is pop. In Texas, they call it soda water or soda pop. Says Art NASCAR. So there you go. We're getting what each region calls it. We just call it soda. At least in North Carolina, the section of North Carolina I'm in. I know toward the mountains has a little bit of a different lingo, and certain parts of the Outer Banks have a little bit of a different lingo. But in the Piedmont region of North Carolina, we call it soda. The Flatlanders call it soda from my time in the mountains. We're all Flatlanders if you're not from the mountains. Why would 2311 think that NASCAR would make any changes to the charter agreement when all the teams signed? I don't know. They're not going to get the things completely. They're not going to get the charters completely permanent because that's what they're holding out for on principle. But they might, from holding out this long, they might get some other extra concessions. Next week will be devastating to Burton's run for sure, says one wise guy. Talking about Bristol. What up, y'all? Surprised where 2311 qualified, but sure, the 45 will be up front not before too long. Let's go KFB, says Swan Dog. Chicago says pop. So Chicago is pop. Midwest, once again. When I lived in Tennessee, I got called Yankee all the time. Never got offended, says T Van. Yeah, it's not necessarily meant as a dig. Well, some people are just mean people, but it's not meant as a dig at all. The Watermelon Man gets his first win of the year, says Art NASCAR. It could happen. He's got a fast car. We're gonna have to see how the tire fall off and all that goes. It's the Baloney Burger Man, simply the best NASCAR site on the internet. Appreciate you, Big Wheel, and what's up, Big Wheel, and what's up, Hawaii? Hawaii, I think is how it said. Enjoy the race today, says Camaro 50. Pizza Hut is the official pizza of the Pat McAfee show. Pat McAfee and daggone Nick Saban, the Tomahawk man, sharing some Tomahawk steak with Nick Saban. That was a pretty good. That was a pretty good moment on College Game Day yesterday. I didn't even see any of the college games, but I watched College Game Day. How sad is that? This race will take Hamlin out of the championship, says Bruce Reed. It could happen. It could happen. I feel like he's got a pretty good long run car too. I'm trying to remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I don't have them here in front of me. No soda all Pierre, says Bumblebee. So Bumblebee 316. No soda for her. Get red zone. Get red zone on, says one wise guy. I still have no clue what Austin Dillon was talking about with big RCR plans. I'm glad you brought that up, Jamie Schweitzer, because I'm thinking about some scenarios he might be talking about over there, and I think they might involve Colleague, at least a tighter alliance or maybe a full partnership. That's the only thing I can think of going forward, because for it to be as big as he's talking about, and the fact that everybody at RCR is much looser and just I don't know. I just feel like they've got a different presence about them. Since Dillon's made that announcement, since the Olympics ended, it's just a totally different RCR vibe, and they're running well, much better too. This is just my theory, and I haven't heard anything about it. My theory is that, especially with the Ty Dillon deal being linked to the extra car, the 31 over there at Colleague, they put Ty Dillon and Austin Hill in the 31 and sort of split them part time. And then that 31 just becomes the Colleague 31. And then obviously by default, the 16 would just become a much tighter alliance, if not a full partnership, like Chip Ganassi with Felix Sabates type of deal. I think that could be something you see going forward in the future. And also, of course, I guess in the Xfinity series, Colleague is still going to try to work with Trackhouse and stuff like that when they get an opportunity to. Although Trackhouse, I guess, is going with Junior Motorsports for all their Xfinity stuff now. So maybe that's a sign that RCR and Colleague are going to have the big merger, and that's where Austin Hill finally gets his call up in the Cup Series. And of course, like I said, I think Ty Dillon's going to split time with him there at least next year. So that's just my thoughts on that. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but that's the only thing I can think of that would just be this big move, because I feel like that would be pretty big, that you get Austin Hill, AJ Allmendinger, especially at Super Speedway. So you'd have basically like a Super Speedway specialist in Austin Hill helping out the RCR gang, and then you've got like a road course specialist in AJ Allmendinger. Although AJ, he runs good at everything now, but originally when he came to the sport, road course specialist. That would be sort of your road course setups, and then you've got Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon for the rest of your regular, because they've both run since the Olympics, have both run pretty good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if they've got something that I wasn't even thinking about, just completely outside of the box coming. They did sign a pretty big sponsor here the other day, and I can't call it off the top of my head, but they got a pretty good sponsor deal going as well. College Game Day is good stuff, says In Between the Lanes. I agree. Georgia almost got beat by Kentucky, edged out 13-12. Indeed. But a win's a win. It might hurt your ranking, but hey, you're still undefeated. Bumblebee 316 says, oh, hell yeah. Niners live on CBS. All right, Niners game is on. So, I'm going to wrap it up here because I got to watch my team play. Will Kyle Busch become a part owner? I mean, that could be part of it too. Good point. Good point, Jamie Schweitzer. Appreciate the stream, BB. Have fun watching a little football and hopefully a great race at Watkins Glen. I'm looking forward to seeing, appreciate you there, Dirty Death. I'm looking forward to seeing Montoya again today, but anyone placing bets on what lap he spins, says Steve Ann, well, it's a different car to him. So hopefully he does well with it. You never know. The original 0, original 13 states were considered Yankees, says Baron Von Weaves. There you go. That's what that's the original origin of where the word came from. Let's see. Connor Zillich replaces Alex Bowman. I'm betting the rumor started now. LOL, says Joseph Wooten. I don't know. It's either going to be him or Suarez, I think, as it stands now. But a year is a long time for things to happen, so you never know what can happen in a year. I don't see him replacing Ross because he's not old enough to handle that sponsor right now. So looking like Suarez would be the one on the hot seat for Trackhouse. unless they can find like another arrangement, colleague or something like that, uh, where they could sort of run 4 cars, a la what Penske's doing with the Wood brothers. Yeah, so that would be the only way that nobody loses a ride. But yeah, Alex Bowman definitely on the hot seat, but I think Alex Bowman's going to get replaced by Justin Haley, allegedly and whatnot. I've made that episode. That episode's down there. If you want to check it out somewhere, and that rumor's only gotten bigger and bigger with time. Jordan Bianchi reporting on it now as well. So I knew the rumor came from a good source at the time, but now that Jordan Bianchi's reporting on it, it feels like it's getting closer and closer to being announced. At least the first leg of it, which would be Justin Haley driving the 7. And Corey LaJoy probably going to be in the Rick Ware 51, 52, 53, whatever Rick Ware number they're going to run that year. Connor Zilic replaces Alex. Well, we just read that one. Jamie Schweitzer, peace. I enjoy the game, BB. 49ers. I can't stand the Ravens and Lamar. LOL, says Thunderstrikes. I call Cindric for the win, says Schweitzer. Not a bad pick. That's a good wild card pick. I like that one, Jamie Schweitzer. Bengals, Joe Burrow has been covering up a wrist injury, says Brickyard Brickhead. That, and he always starts off the seasons slow. Like I've had him on my fantasy team before. His first 4 games are never anything to look at, but then after that, he starts cooking. A1, right back at you, my friends. Seahawks are playing the Pats. Catch y'all later. So, hey, there you go. Good luck. Good luck to all your teams. Good luck to all your drivers. Poll question. Final results: 34% Kyle Larson, 25% AJ Allmendinger, 23% C. Bell, and William Byron, 19%. So that is the final. I'll check y'all after the race. Peace.